Good morning and welcome to Multiply Mornings. My name's Dan and today we're talking about all the craziest stories around the web. Let's get into it. I've never seen such polarizedness, such separation, such anger, such stupidity, quite frankly. We just saw last night the second main presidential debate. We saw Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump facing off again. And last time we talked about how neither of these people were really honestly people who were fit to serve as president of the United States. But this is a quintessential time in our political life that we are literally going to see either side a drastic change in the way our country is going to go in the future, because there are several several things are going to be passed during this next presidential term. So what I'm frustrated about is this ideological blockade we're seeing today. What I mean by that is we see such concerted effort to push one agenda. Now, I know I'm a conservative. I'm open about that. I'm an openly conservative Christian man. I talk about every day here on our show. But what I'm frustrated by is the amount of bias we see from around the world. You see, God calls us to be people who are fair and just, genuinely. But what I just saw in that debate, what I saw happen, such a polar bias. I mean, literally moments where the moderator was inserting themselves as a debater debating a candidate. It was ridiculous and unacceptable. The amount of unacceptability we've seen in our country today, and in this election especially, is insane. When I scroll through a news article, a news source, and all I see in every category, news, sports, entertainment, science, I mean, every single category, what I see is a politically focused and charged thing about a negative of one candidate. There's been a plethora of negative things that have come out on both sides, yet we see one side deliberately pushed. We saw several times in which times ran over of one candidate, Donald Trump, and they would be outraged. Instant stop. Hey, Mr. Trump, we need to move on. Yet, in several points, until Donald Trump pointed it out, there were several times in which Secretary Clinton would go over her for extended periods of time before being stopped. Now, why do I say this, guys? It's because it's so important. The internet is a sphere of freedom, of creativity, of the ability to say what you're going to say. And the fact of the matter is that this liberal ideological system that we find ourselves in today is horrible. I tell you what, when you look around, you see every news entity against it. When you see every celebrity possible coming out making commercials, doing everything they can to stop one candidate and one ideological point. That shows you something. The amount of force and efforts being put behind this is unimaginable. We saw it with President Obama. We see people trying to sway the opinion off of not facts, but just emotion and humanism. This idea of humanism and stuff that's taking over our country has to come to an end. It truthfully does. It's no longer about what is best for us, for our country. John F. Kennedy said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. That was the idea before. We have seen that lost upon the party, even in which JFK was a Democrat. He was an active Democrat. So what we see is this complete loss of understanding, of truth, of everything, because it's all about me. It's all about who I am. America is the land of the free, home of the brave. It is where we're supposed to be. It's not what it's supposed to be right now, though. America has taken itself and become weak. We become a body of single people, not a nation united. One nation united under God. We are now a nation of singular people who want everything for themselves. Greed has taken over, and we see that in every facet, every line of our civilization. Now, why am I saying this? I'm about to wrap up. But the point of the matter is that at this point, young people, everybody has to look and see, do we like the direction in which we're going? Do we like the division on every line of our civilization, of our humanity, from social to political to economic to racial, everything we are, there's so much division throughout every facet to where people no longer want to work together to get a solution. It's what do I want, and there's no other way around it. This is not the way in which we can any longer continue. And that's why this debate, this section, this presidential debate is so fundamentally important, because you know what? They're both wrong. They're both not great. But we have to say to ourselves, where do we want our country to be? Where do we want ourselves to be? We can't look to a candidate. We can't look governmental body. We can't look at anything besides ourselves and say, I need to be different, because the only thing in this world I can change is me. The only thing I can focus on making better is me every single day. I'm tired of watching this rhetoric, this ideological point, this foolishness be perpetuated through young people, through old, through every avenue of our society. It's time to stop pointing at everyone else and saying, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, and say, I need to be different. I need to change. This is the time to do it. It's my challenge to you. Everything in this world points to that it is not anybody else's responsibility to make this world better than me. You wake up every day with breath in your lungs to go out and make the world better, to focus on what needs to be focused on, not to focus on what the Joneses are doing across the street, what anybody else is doing. I do what I need to do to make myself the best I can be. I'm going to leave it there today, guys. I think it's a focus that's everything rolled into one. I'm not normally going to talk about this stuff every day. I don't like to get overly political on the channel, but we're not afraid to go there because this is a channel, this is a place to dedicate and always saying what's popular, what everybody wants to hear, but saying what we need to hear, to being a place of truth, of fairness, and of justice. We're going to come here every day and we're going to talk about what God's doing in our lives, what God's doing for us, where you're supposed to be, what's going on in the world, and trying to sort out what this crazy, insane place is. I'm going to leave it there. If you like what we did here, make sure you hit a thumbs up, share this video, let people see and think honestly about what the truth is. And guys, thank you so much for watching. God bless. Subscribe if you want to see more. Bye-bye.